In this video, I want to introduce something called the product rule with positive exponents, specifically positive exponents here. Okay, so we have a basic rule that we follow here. If we have a raised to the b, and we're multiplying it times a raised to the c, this is equal to a to the b plus c. Okay, so we just add the exponents if we multiply them together. Okay, so let's see this in a really quick example here. Let's say we have x squared times x to the third. So if we expanded each of these, x squared and x to the third, this is the same thing as x times x. And then we're going to multiply this by x times x times x. Because remember, if you raise something to a power, you're multiplying that number by itself that number of times. So x squared, that means x raised to the 2. We're going to multiply x by itself twice, so x times x. And then we have x to the third, we multiply x by itself 3 times, which is x times x times x. So this is going to give us x times x times x times x times x, or x multiplied together 5 times. So we can write this as x to the fifth, or you can think of this as x to the 2 plus 3. Okay, so this is what the product rule for positive exponents is. So now let's look at a few examples. Here we have 5x to the fifth times 2v times 3v to the fourth times x to the ninth. Okay, so with multiplication, we can go ahead and just combine everything together that needs to be multiplied together. So let's combine like stuff together. You can move things around to the left and right? So this is going to be the same thing as 5 times 2 times 3 times x to the fifth times x to the ninth. Okay, and then we're going to have, looks like, v times v to the fourth. Okay, so let's deal with each of these individually. To start with, we have 5 times 2 times 3. 5 times 2 is 10, and then 10 times 3 is going to give us 30. So we'll have 5 times 2 times 3 is equal to 30. Okay? Or you can think of it as 5 times 3 is 15 times 2 is 30, or 2 times 3 is 6 times 5 is also 30. However you want to approach it, whatever makes the most sense to you. But either way, you should end up with 30. And then we have x to the fifth times x to the ninth. So remember, if we have the same base, which is x here, we're gonna all we have to do is add the exponents together. So this is going to be x to the 5 plus 9. And then over here we have v times v to the fourth. Okay, well, if we don't have an exponent here, we can actually think of this as just v to the first. For some reason, if we don't include the exponent, we just have an implied 1, which means you have one of them, right? So we can think of this as v to the 1 plus 4. So if we simplified this, we'll have 30. That's as simple as it gets. And then x to the 5 plus 9, that's x to the 14th. So 14 copies of x there. And then v to the 1 plus 4, that's going to be 5. So our final answer is going to be 30x to the 14th times v to the 5th. Okay, let's look at this one. Here we have 2v times 4x to the 5th times 5v to the 8th times x to the 6th. Okay, so we can rearrange this by including all of our constant terms together, or all of our numerical terms. So we have 2 times 4 times 5. Okay, and then we can include all of our v's together. So we have all of our v's, we have v, and we have v to the 8th, v times v to the 8th, and then we're going to have our x term. So x to the 5th times x to the 6th. Okay, so here if we have 2 times 4 times 5, so 2 times 4, that's going to give us 8 times 5 is 40. So I have 40, and then v times v to the 8th, that is v to the 1 plus 8, because remember, we have the implied 1 here. And then x to the 5th times x to the 6th, that is x to the 5 plus 6. So our final answer is going to be 40v to the 9th, x to the 11th. Okay, let's do one more. Here we have 2w times 2w to the 6th u squared times 5u to the 8th. Okay, so let's bring all of our constant terms together. We have 2, 2, and 5. So we have 2 times 2 times 5. And then our w terms, we can do w times w to the 6th. And then we have u squared times u to the 8th. Okay, so 2 times 2 times 5. So 2 times 2 is 4. Times 5 is 20. Okay, so our constant term is 20. And then w with an implied 1 here. So that will give us w to the 1 plus 6. And then we have u squared and u to the 8th. So we'll have u to the 2 plus 8. So that will give us 20 w to the 7th, u to the 10th.